All right, today your objective is the students will learn to use the formula for compound interest in order to calculate the amount of interest on loans and other accounts. So in the beginning of the unit, you talked about simple interest, and now we're going to learn the difference between simple interest and compound interest. Simple is just interest calculated on the principal. Compound interest whoa, let me make that smaller. It is interest computed on the original principal, so that's what simple is, as well as any other accumulated interest. So that's the main difference. And we're going to see that sometimes it's compounded annually, and then sometimes it's compounded more than once a year. So I'm going to give you the formula for when it's once a year. So that would be A equals P, which is your principal, 1 plus R, that's your rate as a decimal, and then that's to the T power, so T is in years. And I would really make a note that this is once a year. Okay, so there's going to be a different formula when it's more than once a year. So again, once a year. All right, so our first example is you deposit $2,000 into a savings account. So you're putting money into a bank because you want to earn interest on that. So in this case, interest is a good thing. It has a rate of 6%, so find the amount of money in the account after 3 years subject to compound interest. And notice it doesn't say anything about more than once a year. So this is another example of once a year. Okay? So to find the total amount of money in the account, we're going to do A equals, the principal is $2,000, 1 plus 0.06 to the third power. So this is one where you could probably just put into your calculator just like it is. You got to be really careful, especially coming up in the next example when it's more than once a year. If you do this, you get 2,001 plus 0.06, and make sure you use the parentheses. You should get, let's see, 2,300, whoa, $82.03. So what that means is after 3 years, the savings account that you had would have gotten to $2,382.03. So if you want to calculate the amount of interest that earned, and in this case, remember, interest is a good thing, you would take that total minus what you originally put in, and that's, so your account, just by having it into the bank, made $382.03 in 5 years. So again, that was a good thing because you were saving your money into the account and it earned interest. Okay? So that's an example for when it's once a year. We come down here, you might see examples of when it's going to be more than once a year. Okay, so make that note that you're going to have a different formula when it's more than once a year. And you'll know it's more than once a year because you'll see these words, semi-annually, quarterly, or monthly. If you don't, you assume it's just once a year. So annually is 1 time, semi-annually is 2 times, quarterly is 4, and monthly is 12. So in this case, we have a different formula, and you can see that the new variable is going to be n, so n is going to be the number of times. So this would be your n, and you're going to have that new formula. So that's A equals P parentheses 1 plus R divided by N to be n times t power, okay? And remember, I would highly suggest you make a note that this is more than once a year, okay? So again, you have a different formula when it's more than once a year, and you'll know it's more than once a year because you'll see the words semi-annually, quarterly, or monthly. You're going to have to be very careful about how you key this into your calculator. Okay? So, here's your problem. You deposit $7,500 into a savings account that has a rate of 6%. The interest is compounded monthly, so you know this is more than once a year because you see the word monthly. So in that case, your N is going to be 12. Okay? Your P is going to be the 7,500. Your rate is 0.06. And then if you come down to the problem, you wanted it in years, and it's already in years, so T is 5. So I would always show your work in case you get the actual calculation wrong. So how much will you have after 5 years would be A equals P, 7,500, parentheses, 1 plus R is 0.06, divided by 12 to the 12 times 5. Okay, so I will tell you that I like to kind of do this in on my calculator in chunks. So what I would do is kind of maybe, I would probably do this on my calculator first and then multiply it by 7,500. So I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so it's going to be parentheses 1 plus 0.06 divided by 12, close the parentheses, and then caret 12 times 5, enter, okay, times 7,500. Okay, so you get $10,116.38. So, 10,000, what did we say? $116.38. So I'll show you another way to key it into your calculator if you want to chunk it even more. I would probably do this first. Okay, so what that means is I would do 0.06 divided by 12 plus 1. Okay, and then that to the 12 times 5 power. Okay, so we should be getting some of the same numbers. Okay, so you get the same answer. But again, I wouldn't try to put it all into your calculator, but if you want to, just make sure with me, I would check it with me before you decided your final answer. Okay, so again, that's how much money that would be in the account that you would have had saved if you deposited $7,500 at a rate of 6% compounded monthly. So to find the actual interest earned, you would do that total minus the initial amount that you put in. Okay, so let's see what that is. So this time your account earned $2,616.38 in interest. Okay, so you can kind of compare that the more you put into the savings account and the longer it's in for, the more interest it's going to earn. So you kind of want to make sure you choose a bank that has a good interest rate, and you know, the longer you keep it in there untouched, the more interest it's going to earn. Okay, so you can see on this front page there's two different formulas. There's one where it's compounded once a year, and again you won't see any of those words semi-annually, quarterly, or monthly. And then the second type of example is more than once a year, where you will see those words monthly and quarterly. Okay? So I'm going to do a couple examples. The first thing is you can cross out number 1. Okay. Woo! Because you guys already did that one. So moving to number 2, if it helps you to define your variables a little more before you actually calculate, that might be a good idea. So in this case, you are depositing $1,000 into savings account. So that means, again, you're going to earn interest. So the 1,000 would be your P, the R would be the 4%, T would be 5 years, and then if I'm looking through this problem, I don't see any words like monthly, quarterly, or semi-annually, so this is once a year. So that will tell you the formula to use is just A equals P times 1 plus R to the T power. Okay, so your principal is going to be $1,000 that you're putting into the account. The rate is 0.04 and the T is 5. Okay, so your substitution would look like, to find the total in your account, 1,000, I probably don't need to put that parentheses, 1 plus 0.04 to the 5th power. So let's see how much money would be in that account. So 1,000 times 1 plus 0.04. Okay, so that account has $1,216.65. Okay, so $1,216.65 total in the account. So now if you want to figure out how much you earned, so how much interest you made, so that's money you make just by keeping your money into that account. That would be, I believe, $216. Not $2. And 65 cents. Okay? Alright, so now we'll look at one where we're comparing two banks. So this time you are taking out a loan. Taking out a loan. So you don't want to pay interest because you're taking out the loan. In the other ones, you were putting money into a savings account, so you wanted to earn interest. If you're taking money out, you don't want to have to pay that much money to borrow it. So you have SunTrust, which has, you want the $1,000 or $10,000 loan. Your rate is 0.04 and your time is for 2 years. Then you have the Hartford Bank, which this time you're going to take out an $8,000 loan. Your rate would be 0.06 and it would be for 3 years. Again, I'm just getting that information from the front. Okay, so find the amount of money in the account after the given year subject to compound interest. So you don't see any words that say it's going to be more than once a year, so you're going to use the once a year formula. Okay, so that is A equals P times 1 plus R to the T power. Okay, so over here we're going to do 10,000, 1 plus 0.04 to the second power. Let's see how much we have to pay for that. So 10,000, 1 plus 0.04 to the second power. Oh my gosh, not the 22nd power. Crap. Can I go back up and edit this? Let's see. to the second power. All right, so that means for that loan, we would have to pay $10,000, 816 cents. Okay? For Hartford, we would have 8,000, 1 plus 0.06 to the third power. So 8,000, 1 plus 0.06 to the third power. Ah, not times, oh no! 8,000, 1 plus 0.0, not 0.6. Ah! And to the third power. Enter. Alright, so that one would cost us $9,528. $9,528, and I believe it's 13 cents. Okay, so again, you can see the difference between the amounts we would have to pay, but now we really want to compare the amount of interest, because remember, if we are taking out a loan, we don't want to pay interest. We don't want to have to pay that much interest. So in order to calculate how much interest we did, we're going to get that total that we would have to pay minus the initial loan, and that's going to be $816 in interest, and that's just, you know, paying money to borrow money. So it's kind of like you don't want to have to pay too much of it. And now the interest for Hartford would be, I have a feeling this one's going to be higher, but you never know. Okay, so hopefully you can read that, or hopefully you just know those numbers that you're supposed to be using. 9528.13 minus 8,000. Okay, so that would be, whoo, that's a lot of money in interest. Okay, so you can see that one has a lot more interest. So if you were to choose your bank, this is my personal opinion, is I would choose SunTrust. Less interest, and when borrowing money, you don't want to have to pay that much interest. Watch out, I'm going to put this on here so you can see. There you go. SunTrust, because it's charging you less interest, and when borrowing money, you don't want to have to pay that much interest. Okay? If it was when we were saving money, I would have chose Hartford, because you want more interest when you're saving. Okay? Alright. So your classwork assignment, I made problems around the room today, so you will unfortunately have to get up and move to find the problems. I thought it would be a good idea to burn some calories, get some steps in. So make sure you complete the classwork, and if you don't complete it, make sure you at least write the problem down so you can do it at home. Your test is coming up. You can see what date it is on the board, and then keep on keeping on.